Hello, and welcome to the newest episode of Show Me Your Diamond YouTube channel and podcast. Today, my newest diamond is Aelita, who is a Feng Shui master. She is also a doctor of Chinese energetic medicine and astrologist. Welcome, Aelita.
Thank you
Is there
so
something is there something else you would like to add to all the titles that I already mentioned? I'm sure you do so much more.
much. That's plenty. I'm a mother and a wife. I'm a like every woman is the multitask experience. But thank you for having me. Thank you for enjoying this opportunity. And yeah, let's talk business. Let's talk feng shui.
Wow. So what is Feng Shui?
Well, the shortest definition in feng shui, there's many definitions, but what I like to say, it's adaptation. Internally, externally, that's the shortest definition of feng shui as we, as a human beings, entering the any space, a physical space and metaphysical space, we're continuously adapting, we're continuously adjusting, we continuously are, bringing the opportunities or like a melting with the opportunities of the surroundings. And sometimes also we are getting distracted or we're also getting depleted. So it's always depends. If there's no people in the space, there's no feng shui because we don't have a reference point at that moment. So we are the only ones who can say is the feng shui is good or the feng shui is bad, or neither, because everything is energy.
Well, first to share with my audience, we met in beautiful Florence,
Hmm.
and we were immediately, I felt a connection. I hope you felt the same thing because energetically we were attracted to each other, and I found you fascinating, and I found what you do fascinating. So how do you help people? Because from what I understand, you help people live better and be, and you shared with me that through Feng Shui you can help people to be happier at home or in their offices, in the workspace. Can you tell our audience a little bit more about how do you do that?
Well, I cannot give you all the secrets away, but I'll do my best. Uh, First of all, feng shui is a very personal thing, and it takes the certain data, obviously your date and time of birth, the origin, the culture, language, um, your past experience, your current experience, your state of being, health-wise, as well as the emotional state of being. And that drives your way how you feel in your physical space. Sometimes people would reach out and say, well, I want more money or I want, better relationship. But sometimes they're not even capable of because their own self-esteem or their capacity may be depleted. So this is how I help is first of all objectively identifying where you're at. You know, knowing the astrology that gives a lot of insight of what is your capacity. What is your natal capacity? What is your predisposition at birth? What is your mission? And also gives them more precise information. What is your purpose at this very moment? Because when we look at the several types of charts, the other side is like where you physically are. How is your physical environment? How is your home is is supporting you? How is the country supporting you? How is your, let's say, the weather or the certain conditions supporting you because it's of your natal capacity? Let's say somebody was born and raised in Arizona in a desert and then brought to live in Alaska or brought to live in Ireland. They will miss a certain capacity of their natural survival, right? Because it's the desert and sun is very opposite, very different than something is there. So we in classical feng shui, we do take all these nuances, being as a practitioner, being observant. Who are you? Who is Julia? Where are you coming from? What is your anticipation? Where you and how you stand at this very moment. So that means listening, observing, and looking like identifying what basically really identifying what other surroundings are as they are, not claiming good or bad, just as they are. And then listening, what is the feedback? What's the feedback? What would you like to improve? How is your sleep? How is your digestion? How is your happy moods? How is your relationships? How is your work? Do you have energy uplifting? Do you love to come home? Or do you argue? All these nuances. This is all is a data taking in. And and the second step is then you look at the physical space. So we in feng shui we correlate. We use compass. There's several schools of thought, but very basic. We look at the form. What I mean by form is like how the structure, external structure, how's the internal structure, how the energy flows in it. Energy is tangible because as it moves from door to door, from door to window. There's a you creating the feeling, you creating the patterns. You probably know in your house, you certain areas you accumulate stuff that you don't even know how and you want to probably get rid of it. And then there are the areas you actually love and indulge and enjoy, right? So this is kind of an objective viewpoint. And what I do, I think my deepest purpose is to speak the language of the land. Is
Mhm.
to understand because there's a many ways we are neglected to our physical environment, and that creates the obstacles that we think it's within us or in a certain space, but it's just actually disconnect to nature, to maybe certain, aspects of history of the home, sometimes energetical patterns that we bring from our ancestry or from our what you learned from childhood or how we've been raised. That's all takes into how it plays out. It's not something, um, none of the consultations are like written by the book. Like you open if you are facing certain direction, and this is I think where I'm becoming most rebellious with the other consultants is, um, we just cannot apply just one tool. We just cannot justify something based that which is humorously happened yesterday on a Zoom call with a group of global women when they said, well, we made adjustments in feng shui, and it says, well, so this is Wells Corner is the southeast. It's like, I mean, they said, oh, I boosted up my Wells Corner, and I said, isn't that the southeast? Yeah, because that's what the simple primitive would consider the simple Bagua putting over the every room and judge everything by one measures. Feng
Mm.
Shui is more nuanced, there's more association, it's more involving. It's actually more connecting to your personal beliefs, your personal capacity, your personal like a cultural things. So there's so much more to it. So I don't know.
Well, very interesting because I mean, first, I know that you used to live in California, or do you still live in California? You live between California and Florence now?
Florence, yes. So I'm taking advantage of the opportunities to study and my children's study. So this is a temporarily adaptation of the enjoying the feng shui and enjoying the Florence in its glory for me. But at the same time, it's such a beautiful learning experience, what I'm going through and how I'm adapting the city by realizing what I miss, how I compensate, how I replace things, because it's very different. It's first of all, it's a Europe versus US, West, like very deep West versus like something very, and like a young country versus very old and traditional country. Language, right? Italian versus English. And I'm not American and not nor Italian. So as we both are Europeans, but from the other parts. So this makes us very versatile and adaptable and beautiful as a life experience. So I'm not, and I'm trying to take best and learning and identifying actually feng shui even here. It's a part of the sacred geometry, it's a part of the architecture, it's a part how in the past cities were built, the purpose, it's all integrated. It's a worldwide. So
So to choose Florence, did you use everything you know, astrology, feng shui, to choose to which country to move?
yes, I have to admit that the time of moving, the year of moving, it was so compatible to my personal chart that even the move itself happened so flawlessly, rapidly. Like I moved after 22 years of living in the space, whole family. We dissolved the house in 3 weeks. That's how naturally that it's actually came true. And when you look at that situation and adapting, it's timely. It was good for the family, it's good for me, and as a city where to move, of course, why wouldn't you to
Yeah,
be
of course.
a
I
center
mean,
of
Italy as a country, you cannot go wrong with Italy. I love Italy myself. My children are half Italian and I go to Italy a lot. So Italy is important for my work because jewelry, nature, culture,
yes.
fashion, dolce vita. I mean, yeah.
Life. Yes. No, it's definitely has a different dynamic and we adapting. So it's definitely different when you live right in a smacking center in the city. I'm looking at the Duomo right now. I'm looking at every day. My office window is I am looking at the Duomo every single time. And for me, it's a northwest. For me, it's like even how I chose where to sit, where to work. I want to take advantage. And so feng shui, of course, feng shui helps. It does.
Very interesting things you said. So you said first that we are quite attached to the land. So I was born in Bulgaria. I lived in Bulgaria, then Russia, then I moved to the US as well, and now I live in England. And England probably would have not been the country I would choose, but I moved here because of my then fiance. And I miss the sun. And as you said, so how all this affects us? Because obviously I didn't know Feng Shui nor astrology. It just life took me to all those different places. So now I'm thinking if one knows a little bit of astrology and Feng Shui, it seems that you could live much better and things could be easier, right?
Yeah. So why we even consult on the like why do we people consult and feel like I have a regular clients is like when we are out of balance, right? We need to adapt quickly. And when we have that awareness of our strengths and weaknesses, or we understand, what supports you, then or what's timely, then you can adapt very easily. And that is the self cultivation, self knowledge. So when we know about astrology or people who consult with me, and when we go through the reading, it's not about fortune telling, but it's just actually identifying what are their qualities that they embody, that they don't have to change themselves, but they embrace themselves.
Mm.
They take the strength. Somebody I had just yesterday as a were born in year of a horse, and an hour of the goat. And the person, male, he says like, I want to write this music. I'm always loved the music, and that's his goat hour. He has to have the fulfillment of his heart fulfillment of aesthetics of the nice things, but that's because it feeds his soul as a goat. And he was like trying to neglect because all he knew prior to that, that he thought he's only just born in the year of a horse, which is industrious, clever, powerful, fast, hands-on. But when revealing and reading about his characteristics from the other angle, it's just like, you don't have to change. You actually need to invest more time, almost like carve the time for yourself that you are in a right city after moving from New York, ending up in Florence. It's ideal for the person. So um yeah.
Yeah, well, very, very interesting. So for people like us who are, I mean, displaced, I kind of ended up here just because. For you, it's a conscious move, so it's a bit different. But what would be your advice for people who are not living where they were born? They're not close to their roots and their place of power.
Well, it's maintaining, first of all, it's connecting to the local culture,
Mm.
eating local food that's grown locally, and follow the seasons that are timely. Let's say it would be a little silly for us right now to eat the berries and strawberries because they're not in season in the locations where we are grown up. So we have to go back to our DNA. I just came back from for holidays. I was in Latvia, and I was indulging into the mushrooms that I was picking up with my mom, and it was salted and marinated, and it was came from the roots that we picked energetically. The- when you that is consuming the chi, that is consuming your ancestral energy. Or when my mom would send me with the jar of the jam that was picked by in the forest, right? And I would enjoy that during the winter on a slice of bread, like here in the Florence bread, that would be perfect. But think about it, I connect in a not just I having a jam, but I having a jam that's been picked by my mom or comes from the earth that I was born in, right? And then there's all that love that be sent to me. So when you start, I could say that's a relationship. That's a very in a deep emotional level, how much the relationship with your birthplace or your immediate environment you can create. I'll give you another example. The first night I arrived to Florence, and after the holidays, the fridge is empty. I go downstairs to the restaurant who know me, who I have a relationship, right? And this is like a local, like the Italian local. So I've been received like coming home. And that is also connecting to you when they serve you, when they make the pizza, the wood oven pizza, and they smile and say, "Oh, you're back," or "Can we have a glass of wine?" I mean, whatever that is, or "Oh, I know you love this jam," and they have this specially like they bring it for you. This is, of course, it doesn't happen that you go in every restaurant, but it took the effort of realizing I have created a relationship with the time by living across from them, by not being negligent to my immediate environment. So people who move or who travel, I think is very important is that, of course, language is one. I mean, making an effort to speaking, like communicating with the local people. The second is enjoying their, labor, like let's say what they make, what they saw, what they cook, what they communicate. So connecting that way. appreciation of the physical, walking the streets, discovering, kind of feeling it, having a sense where you're at. That is adaptation. And then
Mhm.
picking and choosing, because if we're becoming all the time critical, like,
Mhm.
oh, I don't like this, I don't like that, that's not the purpose. The purpose is like, how do I blend in? Or what do I miss and what I can, indulge in. So feng shui is also about looking what's good and make it better, not looking for pathology, right? Not looking for sickness, but looking something that is, we live, not everything is perfect, but how you can reveal what is good or good enough. So,
I would like to share. I had a little taste of what you do, and I would love to share how much I enjoy that. So one of the things that Aelita does, you can have with her distantly. You don't need to be in Florence or in LA, but distantly. So what we did it with the computer, with the phone. We walked through my house, and it was quite an unusual experience. I've never done that, and I really loved it. So I showed Aelita my home, and she asked me to stand at certain places, at entrances with the compass. I didn't even know which way I was looking, whether it was, where is my window showing, which way, so southwest, and then from the house is northeast, and all this was kind of new for me. So tell me, what did you think? Because we kept the comments to reveal the walkthrough and the result here together on the podcast.
yeah. Well, first of all, I have to tell you that you definitely put me on a spot. Like, usually I do have a system of how do I investigate, because it's very important is to analyze and look like having a bird's eye view on a property or the area where you live. Now everybody can do that. You can look at the Google Earth, you can expand the view through the country, through the whole island, or you can also zoom in to very precisely to the home you're at. So that is important, because as you look a little bit more like an eagle, like Lola, you start seeing where the green areas, the mountains or rivers or streets are starting, like, creating the shapes, creating the kind of patterns, creating the movement of the identifies the roads, identifies the pattern, because we are analyzing the chi flow with energy flow. We analyzing the walkway or driveway where what the patterns are you embodying, right? Because any home, anywhere you go, for example, is it easy to find your home? Is it easy? Is the address is readable? Is that what energy, what the feel is in a neighborhood? What's all that is a part of the feng shui, because that gives the quality of the qi, that it imprints a certain patterns. Something that which we have not discussed, but that would be a
Yeah.
quite an important part. The second of all, um, when we can do this remotely, because when people do have a floor plans and then have our visual of how the place is laid out, etc., that allows us to understand how do you live and what areas energize you and what areas actually kind of deplete you. Believe it or not, because we as a human body we reading the energy, either we are aware of it or not. We are sentient beings. We are sensitive to our surroundings at all times, consciously or subconsciously, all the time. But when we start creating an understanding, where do you feel safe? Where do you feel relaxed? Where do you need like a little more stimulus? every room and every place gives that notion or gives you the opportunity to match. And speaking of your place, I have to tell you, even you have a large house, you work from the bedroom. And your bedroom has a lot of yang chi, yang energy, which is very opposite to yin. Sleeping area is yin, is calm, it's nurturing, it's warm, it's cuddly, it's like, you can be in your like mini cave. You have a lot of elements in your, for example, in your bedroom that are creating the more energetic yang, let's say the mirrored wall or closet doors, large window where you sleep like next to it. Um, that exposure like the bed right in the center, and then you have your small work desk. So I don't feel that your body physically can disconnect and rest. And then also the coloring. Sometimes when we don't have a grounding wall, we don't have a headboard properly, it's very hard for us to just actually be contained and grounded as well. See, these are the small nuances. Maybe another area where we can discuss was the main entrance, right? Main entrance in Feng Shui is a most important area. It's like your face, right? Like where does the food goes through? You feed yourself through mouth. So this is the mouth chi. That's where the energy from the external to internal, that's where also you pivot. You pivoting, you're changing because you're entering, stepping in to your sanctuary where you feel safe. My other question to you, do you love your home?
Yeah, I love my home and I like spending time inside.
Very good. Very good. Because you can the one of the nuance when people say come and feng shui my house or come and feng shui my home, what's the difference?
My home feels my temple because that's how I feel about my home. It's my temple. And I thought my home was very homey and energetically quite good because when people come, they don't want to leave. But after the walkthrough, I understand that there's different things that I need to change if I wanted to feel better energetically and yeah, energetically.
Yeah,
And
that's
create what I want to create. We discussed that I want to create more connection with my children. I want to also open space for a relationship, the proper relationship for myself. So I want to attract the right clients, right, for my business. So those are all things that could be helped with the feng shui and with
and not only helped but also personalized. So what
Mhm.
I did also in a very quickly, I did calculate your directionality number, and you're a West Group person, your GUA is 7. Okay. So that
What
means
is seven?
7 is your GUA or your directionality number. So you belong to West Group, where directions like northeast, southwest, west, and northwest are always in your favor. Those are like your favorable directions. And very interestingly, that when I look at your chart right now, if you're going to change your headboard and you're going to place where you're like against the wall that you are looking into that right now, you're going to be sleeping with your head in your relationship area. So
So
there's the
if I sleep here next to the bathroom, what we were discussing to put the bed and the headboard,
yes, yes,
and this will be in the northeast direction.
and that's northeast direction, and that's for you personally. Northeast correlates to relationship area. So there's that way that you symbolically, you can symbolically make equality. You can also in the bedroom thin out a little bit of your closet and give some room for your partner to put their couple of shirts, and so that's kind of initiating. That's maybe some ways, but having that organized, decluttered, properly set up with a grounding wall, with the beautiful headboard that it's non-conductible, because right now the metal that you have is also conducting and it's also not supporting really. It's cold and
Yeah.
I want the best for you. I
Yeah,
want
yeah, totally. Would be lovely for me to do the changes and do another podcast and show that.
yeah. So the solutions also to how to cover the mirrored closet doors. Right now, there's a three ways you can have it: just with a sheer curtain that you only cover during the night, or you can also apply the film, or like you said, changing the door, because the reflective qualities in the bedroom where you're right now, you kind of have a double life. You can see the bed in a both ways and think about this is how you wake up, and that's also exhausting, because think about, you are moving through the night, you make a move, your subconscious body is awake, instantly awakes, because it sees the movement, sees the reflection.
Mm.
So I would like you to try is maybe for a couple of weeks before you find a solution, or pick the solution what you want to use, maybe just the cover overnight, just take a larger sheet and apply, put it like a nice over the glass mirror doors, maybe, put it with and try it out and see what you feel.
The
How
whole, because I tried it for a few times. I had a Buddhist monk who came and he was also saying that, and I tried it for a few nights and then I gave up. I was covering just a part of it where I was sleeping. No, it has to cover the whole thing. It's huge. I have a whole
That's what I said. I think you're better off. What I would recommend is really invest. It will be faster to invest in heavier curtains, like like maybe like a zamshwe, like very like suede, heavy like drapes.
yeah.
Okay, and since also your big window does not have a like a night curtains either, right? You're very exposed to the west, southwest. um, Make it cocoon, like, if you don't want to paint the walls and make the changes that way, you can actually make changes through by introducing the window covering
I
and
have
use
I have something covering. I forgot the name of it. It's like this round thing that just goes
rolling blinds, like
rollerblade. Is that
rolling
not
blinds.
enough?
No, it's could be enough, but I just said sometimes, as I said, the suede, the heavier fabrics, when you go to the, it just feels that you are, more feminine, more softer. It's also the mirrors right now is cold.
Hmm.
Reflecting
Because
it.
my bedroom is very small, and I thought that with that metal filigree, almost like a lace kind of headboard, and the mirror, it was getting pretty and bigger. And I love how it looks. It just now from the Feng Shui point, I want to do the changes. Otherwise, I love how it looks with the chandelier and the mirrors and the metal frame. That's very much me.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
if you love it, it's great, but it's but you also see where another nuance. As we are still fairly young, okay, all these things that we said about depleted qualities, like when when we have mirrors and sleeping under the windows and no headboard, we overcoming with ease. But as we all grow older, or God forbid, we come across of the certain sickness or some challenges health-wise, our body response back to recover is also starts lacking it. And then the energy of the surroundings would not becoming as supportive. And so this is where our sensitivity as we grow older is also gets more, I would say, compromised because of it. So
Wow. And then you asked me also about my date and hour of when I was born.
yeah.
What did that help you with? What did you then, how does that?
Well, yeah, what that helped me was to identify with like how can I personalize your you know the tools. For example, because you're Gua number 7, you're West group person, I know that your overall prosperity is in the Northwest. And um, that that also kind of remember how you said you have modified and you have your entrance is from the northeast, and that's a clear that's the area of relationships. So whatever you come through and how your house is embraces or how welcoming that is, it also gives you the opportunity to open up to the relationships. As I we discussed, you have one hallway and then you have additional hallway and then it goes upstairs. So there's a this double effort is needed
Yeah.
until I really enter the home, right?
That's and that's also for me in my relationships. I kind of have built a big wall around me.
But yeah.
It's not
So,
easy to come to me at all.
oh, wow, I'm being lucky.
Um, wow. So are you saying I should remove that second stand for the coats and stuff? Remove it or just have no coats?
No, you can. It's so. This is the thing. It's like, is it practical there? Is it something that's really is it nice to look at it as you welcome? So you already have a one welcoming piece, and then what's the next? House has to be like, what makes you smile? What
Mhm.
makes what cheers you up? You know
Wow.
what is it? Right? So I would rather than have maybe a nice shelf under that mirror that you can put your maybe like little like maybe you have your diamond there, just a reminder, hey, I'm like, association with it, pictures of your family or your children. And that would be helpful as well.
Wow, I love today. Today you really made me think. I did not think about those very vital questions when you ask me, like you said, when you come to your home, do you feel it represents you? Does it make you happy? Does it make you smile? I never thought about it this way. I somehow, to me, yes, I love my home, but to me, the space is like, okay, how do I use it and make it practical? But when we were walking through my living room, you also pointed out that I'm blocking the energy because as soon as you enter the living room from both sides, I have those two big cabinets that are blocking the energy, so it's not flowing. So I have a lot to think about it. And
This is something I think that everybody can benefit.
yep.
And these are just the very basic principles in space planning. I've been gifted. I think I've trained my eye and been gifted to understand from how the energy moves or how the space configures, from low to high, from near to far, from something subtle to bright, something that how you can make something that's very rectangular, you're making more wider, or how something is, because these are the basic principles, because you have to envision there's the geometric forms, there's the sacred geometry involved, there's a lot of patterns involved, and we are pattern beings. No matter how you look at it, humans are pattern beings. Patterns by how we execute things, or how we work, how we do things, and also our body, how we develop, how in a cellular level. We are pattern beings. Also, we are vibrational beings.
Yeah.
So how the space feels, it's not based on only just it's how it resonates, how it vibrates. And that vibration takes place through these, like, massive structures, where you sometimes, yeah, we not need massiveness, sometimes when we need to be more protective or more grounded, but not blocking our doors. Right. So it's the tendencies of the colors. We think about, why do we see red? Why do we see red, like in a furthest way? Why do we, let's say, the stop signs are usually are in red plaque and the right? Why it's not in a different color? Why? It's a feng shui too.
Mhm.
Because our how we resonate, the red color is the slowest and longest waves. So we as a human beings, when we perceive red color, we can see the furthest because the way the energy moves is the slowest and with the biggest move, versus the purple is very short and shallow. So I would say, so all these nuances, this is all practical. That it is a part of the feng shui. It's a practical that's been in what I was saying, this the kind of the in general terms, when somebody works with their own space, look at about the shape. Were you compromising? Make it more balanced. Like if it's something is very long, you want to, structure things that are maybe becoming a little more taller and be more like squarish, like your daughter's room. By moving the bed right now perpendicular to the other wall, the room becomes more square. The living space becomes like, adjusted that way because it's of our perception. And there's a lot of nuances that feng shui practitioners could assist. So if they see
It's
that.
amazing. Aelita also pointed to me that for my daughter's bedroom, I mean, since she's a teenager, so Aelita pointed that by changing how certain furnitures are, she could change how she feels. She needs to feel more protected and to have more privacy. So it's all fascinating. I really love this walking through, and sometimes we were switching between the computer and the phone, and Aelita was drawing because I haven't sent her yet a floor plan. So she would draw while we were walking through. She draws, she puts where things are, and then she showed me I would put this here and this there. And to create more grounding, I would do this and this. This is fascinating. I'm amazed by how much you could do. And Aelita, if we're so fortunate to have your wisdom and knowledge now here sharing with us them, what would be a few tips that you could give to anyone in the audience? What are two things, three things, five things that they could do and have a better life? And one of the very important, I think, how to have more money and more success, because I think we all would like to have more clients and more money. Is there something we could do in our homes? How and where?
I wish I would have that crystal ball right in front of me that would work for everybody.
Okay, so it's individual.
It's very personal, but in general terms, I think we have to look at appreciating what we have first before we start reaching out and want something more clients or more abundance, more money, more X, Y, and Z. Okay. Because life brings us obstacles, or life brings us lessons, or takes things away that we can learn and be more observant. In many cases, people are not as generous, or people are not as kind to their parents, to their ancestry, to their, there's a lot of like nuanced life lesson situations may embody why sometimes we're lacking something that we wanted and we're not having it. If everybody would have everything what they want, I don't know, that would be a fairly boring living experience. If
I
something is taken, yeah, if something is taken away, or something that we need to work for. It's also as a process of refinement, who we are, a refinement of our skills. And I'll bring you my own example. It's beautifully to say move, right? To move, and you have moved a lot. Every single time it's adjustment.
Mm.
But now I start evaluating and actually I'm refining my skin, like my skills. I can do my work from anywhere. I don't need to be in California now, or I don't need to be in UK, in London right now to work with you, right? But
Yeah.
that was necessity. I mean, 5, 6 years ago, I thought I always have to be in the space and feel it. Of course, that's ideal as a follow-up and everything. But what I'm saying, we adapting the nuances, but we also refining our skill set and we becoming better at what we do. So embracing the obstacle is also like the saying is, if you lose the battle, don't lose the lesson.
Mm.
So if you not always what we want is actually, do we really need it? Or you have to ask a question, what are you going to do with it? Why?
It's a beautiful question. It's a beautiful question. And when I ask you, can you give us 2 or 3 or 5 tips how to have, something simple using Feng Shui to make our life better? And I was expecting you say you put a green ball in northeast, and then you put a red thread somewhere and you turn the mirror in this way and then you have a better life. But what you are saying is A, start with gratitude, appreciate what you already have, and B, embrace the obstacles. And I love that. Is there another tip, more practical Feng Shui that could be somehow universal? Of course, as you said, with every
We
client you work, you personalize it, but is there something that everyone can or should do?
always have a clean windows, because it's like eyesight. You want to have the energy to move through clearly. You don't want to overcrowd your doors. Like you want to open the doors, freely, not obstructing the energy move. If it's something squeaking, oil it. If something needs to be fixed, fix it, right? Um, have a sense of letting go of something that's not serving and sharing, like giving that, like seeing where the item or thing that you're holding on to it, which is not serving you any longer, but like that transition when somebody actually can have a joyous experience and actually will love it. Guess what happens? It's the energy through giving, unconditional giving, you expanding the vibration in your space. um when you approach your home, be the guest in your own home. Come with ownership, come with gratitude. I would always suggest put something that is personal to you that makes you smile. They could be the beautiful wreath or the flowers or anything like. It could be also some kind of a toy or quirky. I mean, depends. Depends on your who you are. But because when we smile, we open up the heavenly gate in a Chinese medicine. So we open up this part behind our neck, and the smile that instantly allows us to our heart and mind connect in a deeper levels.
Are you saying put something that is you and makes you smile even outside the home?
It's either like what gives you smile. Because I think in a family, like even if you open the door, right? And then maybe there is you have children. I have children, and I have one photo, like right now we just did a family photo when two brothers are holding their sister, right? The three kids are all together. Every time I look at the picture, it brings me smile. I smile because it gives me joy, right? It could be also a quote, a saying, you
Mm.
know. Um, it's something that is for you, works for you. It could be a joke. It could be something silly, right? So because now when you smile, you allow the energy to move in a different realm.
In my first veranda, the porch.
Forward. Head
So
porch, porch.
yeah, so there's a funny saying that I put. When I get tired of shopping, I sit down and try shoes. And it
Okay.
makes me smile. Yeah, something like that, right?
Yeah, that's so these are the, as I said, this is not, I'm not a gadget. Like when I do feng shui for, I mean, for any cultural background, as you see, I'm not Chinese, but I embrace the culture philosophy deeply. I love it. And so, but you can apply by connecting. If somebody is in different faith, a simple different culture, different, you bring something that is their root, from their root, or something that you talk to them, and you observe what makes them exciting, what excites them. And at the same time, if you notice something and it's something, oh, I don't like this, or oh, this is from my ex, or this is like, that's instantly you want to eliminate or you want to rename it. Okay. So we, everything is a living chi, everything is energy. We are also at some point becoming the earth or becoming that chair. It just takes a time. Right now, we are in this form that we can speak, and there will be time we want. So,
Beautiful. And my crown question, Aelita, show me your diamond.
show you the diamond. I'm good at what I do.
Hmm.
I'm good. I'm experienced. I'm thoughtful. I embrace all the cultures. And I think when you love what you do, the abundance, the universal abundance, it just naturally rewards you. And connection to people that I mean, I think that my diamond is also a connector. I do connect people. I do connect people to places, and I do connect people to people.
Beautiful. Wow. I haven't had this answer before, so I love it. And how do people find you, Aelita? If someone loves what you hear and connects with you with all the beautiful things you shared, how do they find you? What's your website or
My
Instagram?
website is www, my first name, Aelita, AELITA, LETO.com. There's a lot of materials and podcasts and archives of my presentations that those are free. No, and also Instagram and Facebook. Aelita Lito Feng Shui.
Beautiful. And I will drop the link as well in the description of the episode because I believe I need to share this beautiful connection that I made with you in Florence. I'm happy to know you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for shining the light of your inner diamond our to our guests. Thank you.
I got it.
Oh, and I'm taking the love from you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Beautiful.